the series of Design 2020 Forward, curated by Ashima Dank. And we're trying to bring in all kinds of different artistic, creative people to you. And today we have with us Nisha JamVwal in conversation with Arshia, our very own Arshia. So over to you, Arshia.
Thank you, Jyotika, and we are very excited to host this. Good evening and welcome to Ficky Flow Bangalore's Design 2020 Forward series. This is the second of our design initiatives, which we feel are very, very relevant in today's time, as most of us are indoors and looking at ways to make our home and our personal space and the entertaining that we are doing in a limited manner much more meaningful. Today, we are very excited to have the multifaceted and very versatile Nisha JamVwal share her secrets on entertaining, table styling, and being the perfect host. The lovely Nisha wears many hats, and I don't mean it literally, and all of them with style and aplomb. She is a celebrity columnist, interiors architect, a luxury consultant, a social entrepreneur, an equal rights activist, a motivational speaker, and a compare and television anchor. Wow, the list is really endless. Nisha's work in branding, luxury, social causes, and interiors and architecture blends seamlessly in converting her passion for the creative and visual arts into her work, and it all synergizes extremely well. She also authored 6 columns for various international and Indian publications and has been a columnist for over 20 years now. She also does television. On the personal side, Nisha's life story is so motivating, and where she has converted a personal adversity to become her ally. Her inspiring life story drew the attention of international best-selling author Lord Jeffrey Archer. So captivated was he by Nisha's story that he chronicled her story in Thereby Hangs the Tale, where she is called by her real name. Nisha is also an equal rights activist working in cooperation with the Indian government to create accessibility for all, and also a craft crusader to save her traditional heritage. She's authored 2 books on traditional Indian crafts. Nisha's enduring passion towards education and education development for underprivileged children and she promotes adoption as well as literacy, especially in Orissa. Nisha, your list of accomplishments is really endless, and that's what adds to your intrinsic style. And we can't wait to hear from you all your secret tips. So now over to Nisha for a session which we hope will bring color, glamour, and excitement to all of us sitting in our homes today.
You need to unmute, Nisha.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah.
No, she's not unmuted.
Yeah, I'm just doing that.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much, Arshia Ladakh, for that lovely, illustrious introduction. I can almost not recognize myself. Thank you also, Ruchi, for the hard work you've put in to create the visuals. And most of all, thank you, Ashima Dang, for making me come on this show. Between you and me, all the lovely ladies of Ficky Flow, I'm not doing any, talks on style, on beauty, on makeup, on dressing etiquette and grooming, because I feel it's a very, very bleak period that humanity is passing through. So I just feel that this is the time to focus on COVID cure. And I'm doing a series of webinars on that. But Ashima came with a very compelling reason. She said, I'm having a very bad day, so please make sure you say yes. And I found myself saying yes almost instantly. I didn't realize at that time that it's going to be like an exam, because your panel including Jyotika. Jyotika, it's lovely to meet you. Your panel was very exact about what they wanted me to say. And I must say that I'm here to say what I can, but I hope I come through and I hope I live up to the expectations of the vast majority that have done me the honor of attending today. So I want to start with a little vignette of my own life. Like Arshia said, I started out my journey in India around 18 years ago, coming back from Paris and LA, full of life and full of the world. And I met with one of the most debilitating, happenstances in my life that changed life forever. I had two choices. One was to lament my fate and my life, and the other was to celebrate life and see how precious it is, because anything can happen at any time and life changes in a split second. I chose the latter. I chose to celebrate. I chose to have a compelling journey and to inculcate and initiate other women and other men who have trials and tribulations to hold life by the horns and live it. And so I am celebrating life ever since that 18 years. And I wish I could have told Sushant Singh Rajput as well that please celebrate life. We must not give it up. It is a gift. How do I go about entertaining? Firstly, I love entertaining. I love having friends over. And when I say COVID times are bleak, I don't mean that you shouldn't entertain. You shouldn't, have live life, like Tennyson said, to its least. I only mean that there has to be some degree of sensitivity, of not posting food pictures all the time or pictures of you eating, because there are thousands of homeless people not being able to eat currently. But please go ahead and celebrate your own life and don't be sad. Enjoy life, and entertainment and sharing with your friends is one of the most therapeutic things, especially at this time. So I, have been entertaining ever since I got married. I was this little rookie who came to India, a student who had worked a little bit abroad. And I just found that entertaining was a beautiful way of getting to know people, like-minded people. I'm a woman from the arts. I'm an art writer and art collector as well. So I had a home full of art. I still do. And I decided to call people to enjoy that home. What is the first thing I think of when I entertain? You'll be surprised. It's not the menu. It's not the guests. It's the centerpiece. I feel that art and food intertwine themselves. I feel that food is an installation. It's art installation. So what do? Do I go with standard flowers? No, definitely not. I plan a sculptural centerpiece for my dining table, and that's how I start planning a party. Do I prefer a sit down? When people were talking about entertaining and plating, I don't prefer sit downs, because my beautiful, gorgeous husband is terrified of being seated with somebody monotonous. So I personally prefer buffets. And I also feel people enjoy mingling and, chatting with other people. So my personal advice is, unless it's a group of 6 people or 9 people, try to go with the buffet, form of entertainment, because it gives you less stress. The timing of eating is not, forced upon your guests. And you can play around not only with the food, but also with the impact of your design. What is the second thing I'm very focused about when entertaining? I don't believe, I'm an architect as well. I don't know if we know that, but I'm an interiors architect. I don't like crystal or silver on coffee tables. I think it's passé. I think you don't put dishes on tables anymore. You put art. So then what do you use your fabulous sculptural silver and your crystal for? You use it to serve up. So nearly, and maybe more important than the taste of your food, is what you present it in. So I have outlandish glass dishes which I serve up food in. And wherever I go in the world, I pick up outsized, sculptural, floral, colored, Murano, silver, crystal dishes, which people would normally use to embellish their homes, to actually serve a buffet. Now, one very important thing when you're serving up a buffet is heights. So, friends, I'm not going chronologically. I'm going randomly so that I can excite you into, imagining what I'm saying. So I'm going to come to all your questions. I know them before you ask them. But I'm going to go by the way I think of design in terms of food. So, I think food should always be in different levels. You don't have dishes on one platform. That's very monotonous. So if you don't have dishes of different heights when you're serving up, you have dishes placed on what is known as cake platters. They have little pedestals. You know what I'm speaking of, right? So you have these dishes placed on different heights, and that gives a certain, nearly like music notes. It gives tenors to your food. Be very, very creative with your crockery. Don't save it for one day. I see a lot of my friends using caterers and then getting lazy last minute and saying, hey, put your own crockery. No, don't do that. Allow your caterers to do your food, but go with your own beautiful dishes, which you've saved up, which you've received at your wedding. And don't be shy if you don't have 24 plates that match. Mix and match. Go with, you would love to see settings, Ritu Das. Definitely, they've got a PowerPoint ready. And if you don't find what you see, when I'm speaking, I will make sure to post them on my social media tomorrow morning, especially for Ficky Flow ladies. So ladies, what I was talking about was different levels of serving, different heights. And I said it should sound like music. So let me jump onto entertainment. A party is not only about food, installation, art, decor, in terms of your dining, or the magical cocktails you're going to serve at. Do you know that your guest list is not about the people you love the most, or the people who are kindest to you, or the people who praise your dresses the most? It's about creating a cocktail. You create a cocktail of a funny person, of an informative person, of a person who's going to add the glam factor, how much ever you hate her. She may be full of herself, but she should be there because she'd keep the men, enchanted through the evening. So you have that little number out there. You have a powerhouse of, maybe a minister, maybe a person who's, the medical director right now for COVID, a person who's going to engage your guests with conversation that's topical. You have somebody who's, interested in the arts. You have somebody who's, a relative. You have your mother if no one's met her, because she would add interest to the evening. I know my mother does. She's quite a spicy number. So, make sure your guest list is as important as your menu and your design of your table. And of course, the most neglected part, the music and entertainment. Do make sure that your music, you have a playlist to start with. Don't make it too Bollywood, but don't make it too anglicized. Make a mix for different people. You're in India, for crying out loud. You're not in Angrez. Do you know that in Paris, everyone's using Buddha bars, playing all your famous numbers? So don't be shy to be Indian. India is beautiful, and Modi's made it even more fun. So go out there and look at your playlist. And if you would like a game through the evening, if it's a smaller group, do it. I mean, in America where I studied and worked, we used to have games during parties. It's not a very India thing, but you know what it does? It bonds you to your friends. It creates a memory that's unforgettable. The bar. The bar is nearly the cynosure for the evening. So use a party nearly like a spring cleaning episode of your life. Clear up. Even if you have to take the excess in your house and put it in a spare bedroom. Just because you own it, you don't have to show it. You can show it at your next dinner. Keep focal points in your room. One dramatic sculpture, one dramatic piece of art, other, beautiful, the piece that you want to showcase to everyone. Put it on an easel against, maybe your kitchen door. Never, ever allow your kitchen door to be seen by the rest of the house. Always remember that cocktails are very exciting. So don't go with your regular Bloody Mary, your Kaiparoshka. Try and innovate. For instance, what is the new liqueur called? I think it's called Saint-Germain. Saint-Germain is an elderflower liqueur. So if you mix it with Bombay Sapphire gin, and you have an ice tray in which you put edible flowers and filtered water, and you freeze a lot of ice trays with edible flowers. Imagine putting them into the cocktail last minute. Your cocktail ends up looking like a work of art. And I keep saying that, doing a dinner is like doing little pieces of installation art. Coming back to my first point, your centerpiece. Yes, we all know that flowers look beautiful, and at a pinch, if you can't be more creative, go ahead and do it. But if you're catering, I'm famous in Bombay for giving my caterers a coronary. They have to work really hard, and the presentation following my conversation or midway through is going to show you. I make them bake breads like alligators, turtles, pineapples. So they do a bread basket, which is nearly like one of the showpieces on my table, and it's edible. It's not that it's there for show. People actually end up eating the alligators and the turtles and the whale and the dinosaurs. So, there are these different interest points. Jumping back to my bar, make sure you do your cocktails well in advance, plan them. There is no dearth of planning. Don't do anything on the last day, especially if it's a home party. Please do everything nearly a week in advance. Please ask, Arshia, Ashima, and Ruchi, that I have been planning this talk non-stop since Ashima called me day before. Nothing comes. There's no free lunch. I have worked since I was the age of 16, believe it or not, and I have never stopped. So everyone thought this, social denizen of Bombay is going to collapse through the lockdown. I am so delighted to have a lockdown. I am overjoyed because I worked non-stop since I was 16, and this is the first break I've taken in my life. So I'm delighted to be in this therapeutic Vipassana. The point I'm making here is that there's no free lunch. Whether it's a dinner, whether it's a sit down, whether it's 3 friends coming impromptu to tea, it's hard work. You are the host. Definitely enjoy yourself. But your work is to make sure that each and every guest is looked after. And I'm going to come back to that later. What I want to focus on right now is planning. Making notes of the menu. When you pull out your 6 showstopper dishes, which you're going to serve up in, Post-its with what you're serving in which dish. Do you know that I've had dinners where I've forgotten some of the main dishes because you know what cooks and housekeeping staff is like. So we've forgotten the main dessert because we never made a Post-it note on the dish. So make Post-its on your dishes and be prepared for every eventuality on that evening. Have backups, have more backups. Did you know that you even have to have backups of your guest list? I am known to never have a failure in terms of a party or a dinner or an event because I always have backups. Now, I hate saying this, especially on media, but Indians can be responsible with RSVPs. Last minute, they come up with worse excuses than a driver sometimes. So back up with your guest list. Have a backup and always call your guests personally. Please never send out a broadcast. I can't tell you how important it is to personalize, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 100 people, whether it's 200 people. I've had a sit-down banquet, and there's a picture ahead to show you of 420 people sit down at the St. Regis. And I messaged everyone personally. I may not have called everyone personally, but I did message everyone personally. And I had a full house, believe it or not. You can Google it. Even for people attending, I know this is about entertaining, but I just have to say RSVPing, ladies, is very important and it's respectful to your guests. Please never show up without a little token, and let it not be flowers. You don't want your guests scrounging around for a vase. So unless you're going to put your flowers in a vase and give it to her or to him, please don't land up with an edible cake or an edible item on the last minute of your party. If you must give something edible, plan it with your guest. This is party etiquette. And yes, I am an etiquette speaker and a grooming speaker as well. So please do plan to tell your host, hey, can I get the cake? Or hey, can I get the starters? And if she said, no, I'm all set, I've planned a particular flow of flavors, then don't land up with a food item for the party. And if she says, yes, that would be lovely, my suggestion, my humble suggestion, is please take a pre-plated something, not in a steel dish wrapped with plastic wrap for her to go fumbling last minute and for it to be more of a hassle for your poor, friend. Gift her the dish, it's a lovely gift to give somebody. Let your cocktails be creative, like I said, but don't hesitate if it's a brunch to have that Kaiparoshka or Pims ready in a jug. I would always suggest go with a professional bartender, or if you've trained your husband well enough, remember that he's not going to be able to mingle very well. So I would recommend a bartender. I would also recommend backup staff, because normally homes have 2 to 3 to 6 people. So I would recommend not burdening them, because after your party, you're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do. A party, like I said at the outset, girls, is not about food and the menu. Food is a very, very important part, but we seem to think that a party is only about food. It's about how you handle the party itself. Do you know that you're in a play? You're wearing a mask. You are on show on that night of your party. You are definitely not there to drink and have a blast and totter in your stilettos. Please understand that on that day, you are working. You're a working woman. You have to go to every single group and talk to the people in those groups. And please don't discuss people's weight. The first opening line, people always seem to focus on us. Hey, you've gained so much weight. Or hey, you've lost so much weight. You're looking 20 years younger. No. Weight, politics, and religion. Please keep it out. It's bad party etiquette. It's not done. It could be your own sister's party. But there is no such thing as a sister and mother and walking all over them and taking them for granted. P's and Q's are very important, even if it's your own sister's party. You know something? It's not a bad idea to plan ahead. If you were to plan 3 topics, and please don't discuss COVID, plan 3 topics of interest. What is the new Voyager doing? What is the new, what is the new dress code these days? Have a topic ready, read up on it, and be a conversation starter. And please give attention to everyone at your party. Everyone should go back with that little whiff, that little fragrance, that, hey, I'm special to her. Don't be nice just to the minister you called, or just to that important doctor who right now is the most important thing in Bangalore. Please be gracious to even that little mousy wife of the friend you adore and you can't stand her. She's in your home today, so you have to be gracious to her. Yes, we all have our penchants, and we, like some people and we don't. But when the people are in your house, a beautiful party, a memorable party is about saying one special thing to everyone who attended. to greet the person by looking into their eyes and not looking over their shoulder at your main door to see who's come. Yeah, hi, how are you? Hey, I'm so happy to see you. So there can't be two different greetings for two different people who in your heart have different scales. But you know something? At your party, everyone is equally important. And please don't forget your own husband or your own son at the party. Be careful to make everyone feel important and loved. As for placements on the table, if you're having a sit-down dinner, you know the trick, BMW. The bread plate, the meal plate, and the water glasses. So treat linen like an embellishment. Don't treat linen like something to wipe your mouth with, you know. Linen has to be floral or embellished or just about crazy. Sculpt it into something beautiful on every single plate. Or if it's a buffet, stack up your plates and create linen florets around so that people feel like photographing your table. And remember that napkin rings are some of the most creative in the world. When I came back to India 18 years ago, there were no such things here. We had to make them, and I did. All towels and all linen were beige for some reason, or at most maroon. There's no such color anymore. There's burgundy. So use that extra mile. Go out. Don't bother about a solitaire. Instead, go and invest in beautiful jewel-like accessories for your dining table. Yes, I know coffee tables have their candelabra, that beautiful, you know, Ravindra Reddy sculpted head. I agree. But please allow there to be occasional tables for your drinks and make sure there's no accident-prone table in the center of your living room. Normally, the seating I've noticed in India is very constricted. So for that party, try and see if you have enough seating, or then hire those little stools, or you know, in Europe you have these lovely little feathered stools which you can just play around with. So next time you travel, bring some back with you. Seating is very important. You know why? Because people get tired of standing around, especially if it's a garden party. You must hire out chairs and tables, and you know, use your trees to hang lighting. I've almost never had a garden party without embellishment on the trees.
Hello. Okay. Okay.
I was waiting for you to finish the call. I've almost never had a party without trees that have hanging lanterns and lights. Lighting is one of the most important things during a party. Let it not be too dark, but let it not be in the face bright. So what you could do is have subtle lighting around the house and make sure that your lighting is such that it creates a romantic ambiance of softness without, you know, glaring at people. And of course, we must never, ever forget the bathroom. Please don't let there be only one powder room. If you can, I highly recommend a ladies and a gents. So maybe you open up your guest room and give that bathroom, the powder room, to your women friends. And the powder room, which is part of your living room, you could use that for men, because that's more aesthetic. And in the days of yore, you remember the cloakrooms. They always had a little sofa in the powder. Perhaps you could have a little stool or a little chair in the bathroom for those ladies who want to powder their nose or refresh their lipstick. That again is important party etiquette. As for the meal, do you know, I must tell you a little incident of this grand party my friend had planned. She had the cook from Souk to make the most grand menu. And when we came home, I asked my gorgeous husband, I said to him, oh, did you enjoy the food? She'd worked so hard. He said, there was nothing to eat. Do you know, men need some basic fare. If you were going to have very highfalutin dishes, you know, French food or, you know, all the different kinds of tapas, you know, they don't understand. There has to be some basic fare for them to dig their hands into after those, you know, single malts. So try to see that there's some basic fare. Like there's one basic rice dish, maybe even just a paella. So plan your menu not to be outlandish. Sure, go ahead, do 3 outlandish dishes. But have food for those people who've knocked back 3-4 drinks and don't know what you're serving and couldn't care less, but need to fill up their stomachs. And that brings me, of course, to dessert. We are living in very, very health conscious times. And what we are going through has only exacerbated this time. So my advice to you would be to always have a sugar-free or a quinoa dessert, which the women will really love. Because they may not want to, you know, I see a lot of women don't even touch desserts these days. So have a dessert for those careful type of women. And make sure that they, you know about it. And perhaps at that time, you're feeling a little more relaxed because your whole evening's been a success. And now you can actually go and serve up the dessert to, you know, to add that little personal touch at the end, isn't it?
Nisha, thank you for all these inputs, but can we are running a little short on time and we have a lot of questions. So can we move to the presentation and you could just cover a lot of this?
Yeah, let's
Definitely.
cover the table styling right after the presentation, Nisha, because lots of members are messaging us saying, we want to see her styling, what she's done. Is that okay with you?
You like to show them the
Presentation first.
yes.
But
So,
thank you very much for this very
Thank you.
insightful.
I'm so
talk.
delighted that you said, you know, we've run out of time, because I was wondering what I'm going to speak non-stop for 30 minutes for.
You've really charmed all of us and given us so many simple tips, but so relevant, and we can't wait to see the way you entertain.
But girls, I just want to mention to all the lovely ladies attending today that I am very, very regular and very hands-on with social media. I will post a special set of pictures for you tomorrow morning on my Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, dedicated to the Ficky Flow women, in case the presentation doesn't do justice for you.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you, Nisha.
That's such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ruchi, can we have the presentation so everyone can see the visual, beautiful stuff that Nisha has done? Thank you.
Yeah.
So we can move to the next. Nisha, I love the fact that, you know, you personalize the invite and the menu to such detail. It really, really sets you apart from what a lot of other people do.
I put my heart and soul in it. It's nearly like a project. And interestingly, what ended up happening was it turned out to become part of my life for luxury brands. I actually started doing this for luxury brands because my parties had become well known. Should we continue to show the picture?
Yeah. We can just.
And I could perhaps talk a little. This is my own table. I'm sorry, there's a little food dropped all around, but I couldn't help showing you my own personal. Do you see this table? You will notice that I've got little ducks and I've got lotuses and I've got candelabra all over the table. I almost forgot to mention that I actually have little whimsies in the middle of the table. So here you see the theme is of birds.
Wow.
So this is a very famous artist from Israel called Hannah. She's very, very famous. And you see a carousel in the center by Villeroy and Bock. So while you're eating, you're actually interacting with all the art on the dining table. It's very, very cramped and cluttered. but it makes for a very exciting table. Can we move
Yeah.
forward
So
while
this is, like you said, one central focal piece, which with a lot of other stuff around it.
Yes. This is the tea. I'm very, very, Arshia, we can keep moving while I
Yeah.
talk.
So Nisha, your teas are really the talk of town. I mean, I've heard so much about them from so many people in Bombay. So please tell us more.
Arshia, I just want to say that teas are my favorite because they allow the host to relax and enjoy themselves as well. It's that time of the day when you can just lay your hair down, chat with your friends, people help themselves from the buffet, and it's not as much labor and hard work as a dinner, isn't
Right.
it? So you can see the cheeses. I go absolutely, over the top cheeses because I myself am a cheese lover.
Right.
So now you know what I love. I absolutely love various kinds of cheeses. Um, Here you see very carefully the way I've layered. Can you see the way I've
Yeah,
used little
fabulous.
pedestals? I'm very, very, keen on different layers to create that visual difference in terms of, that the art palette. No longer in anywhere in the world. This is my table as well. Both these are my personal tables at home. Here again, you see all the ducks and the sculpture. This is a birthday. And here you also see the tea Charlie. I love the tea Charlie. It reminds me of tea at the Ritz or the Grosvenor in London.
Right.
And I never eat lunch when I'm in UK. I always love high tea. And I love the hot scones and the cakes. This is my birthday cake given by Rasheeda. They're saying, again, she knows my penchant for layers. So she's put my pictures on a layered cake.
Yeah. And I love the way she's kind of merged the flowers, It's
Yes,
just lovely.
exactly. Flowers have become part of the cake, and some of them are edible flowers as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, and here you see another high tea which I've hosted. These are two different vignettes. The theme of this party was Greece. Ladies, you can also always create a theme. It makes your guests work harder on their dress, and you work harder on your own home. So it's also interesting, in my Greece party, everyone wore Grecian gowns. And we've still got the photographs. It's really fun. You just have to Google Nisha JamVwal plus Greece, and you'll see this party. It's really an exciting party. And here is, again, sculptural presentation of food. This is a seafood dinner I've had. And it's all pre-plated. So it's a lot of hard work, but it was a huge success. This, I've also placed a picture from the Penn Plaza in New York. This is dessert, again, pre-plated dessert. When you're catering, it's much easier for you. You stylize a plate like it says here, like Ruchi has written here so sweetly.
Nisha, when you're pre-plating, what do you think is a good number of people to do like a pre-plated or, even if it's not sit down, but just pre-plated food? What do you think works well?
Pass around pre-plated food is very, very big these days, especially if you're catering there's a very new thing, which is small little platelets with little vignettes, nearly like tasting portions, around 10, 15 of them that go around. And there's no formal dinner then.
Right.
So that also is a new form of entertaining all over the world. It's risky. And there is that risk of your husband coming home and saying, oh, but
where was the food?
I will never forget. We had to make fried eggs for him that night with toast.
Oh,
So here are some, pretzels and some breads that I got back with me from Germany. If you're traveling, always remember to get back exotic foods for your parties. People love it when you've taken the trouble to travel back with something special, especially if it has a story. I forgot to mention a very important thing because I've not read out my chat with you. It's just, what's coming out from inside of me. Please put little, what are they called? Little tabs against your dishes, especially the difficult to understand ones. A large table with very grand setting must have tabs with the names of dishes.
Right.
It helps your cook to put the dishes in the right form and the right flow. And it helps people who are not initiated to understand what you're serving up. Can we change the slides?
Yeah.
So here's the tea Charlie I spoke of. They look grand, ladies. They
Yeah.
just make for such pretty pictures. And here you see the food tab. I almost never not have food tabs. And the other important thing which you see in the last 3 slides is colors. Don't have everything which looks like a brown curry. It's terrible when you go to a buffet at a hotel, especially the shadis,
Right.
where you see all the dishes looking yellow. It's very unappetizing. Play around with color. Always play with the greens, the reds, the capsicum yellows, even if you're just doing it for embellishment. I was telling, we did a tech run. Here's the breads I spoke of.
Amazing.
We did a tech run yesterday, and I was telling your panel that, for me, the ambiance, the look, and the display is almost more important than the food. Here's a starter and another layered dessert. The big risk about pre-plated dessert is, ladies especially, they just take a spoon and then they waste it. So I don't recommend pre-plated, but I do indulge my guests sometimes. This is a pre-done salad tray. And here's another cocktail moving in a high tea, moving into a cocktail evening. And we did something very interesting here. We started with dessert. So everyone was really delighted because they really binged on the dessert. And for the first time, they could have dessert without guilt. And a lot of these desserts are sugar-free. They've been made with agave. Here is the banquet I did for 450 people. It was done in the banquet room of the St. Regis. And a lot of the, F&B managers got gray hair that day. And coronary, because of the way we had changed colors and table settings. So it was very hair-raising for the poor chaps. But they did a fabulous job. Here's something which I, again, must mention. I love creating little animals of desserts and of foods. So I always push the chefs to, create different forms with the dessert, different presentations. So the profiteroles in the sculpture of swans. This is an event I had done where we had shoe-shaped cakes and pastries. These are all edible. And here you see my swans again. I just love these, and I keep repeating swans, ducks, alligators. This is the cocktail just before dinner. And I do always take the liberty of mixing salads with pre-dinner desserts. So I'm very well known for pre-dinner desserts also. Don't ever hesitate to mix up a few desserts in your cocktail before preceding dinner. So bend rules and play around freely.
Wow. Thank you, Nisha. I think what we saw today was really beautiful. And I think your whole personality and your intrinsic style really gets translated into the way you entertain. And really, really appreciate the fact that you've covered all a 360-degree approach to entertainment, right from, getting the guest list right, to making sure that the host mingles with everyone, to these simple tips like getting extra staff, getting extra seating. I think these are very, very valid and relevant points that a lot of us just don't, look into or pay any attention to detail on. I think the fact that you kind of get so into every little detail truly makes your party so memorable, and who you are. So
it's a different matter that I feel like I've run a marathon. So next day I'm absolutely, flat out. I'm nearly unable to function. But yes, it's worth it. And each and every dinner that I've hosted has been like a vignette in the album of my life. It's nearly like a wedding. Remember that every single dinner you host will be nearly as much hard work as a wedding. And if it isn't, then you're definitely doing something wrong.
No, and I love the fact that you said that, you know, when the host cannot just take a break, right? The host is always working because you are the host, and you can't. I mean, you can have a good time, but you have to just make sure that everything is just in place.
You
So,
do.
so thank you. And we have a couple of questions. You know, I think a lot of it was covered in your talk, but we'll move to the Q&A. And if anyone has any more questions, you can put it up on the chat box. But let me start with what I have, Nisha. So I think one of the questions were that, you know, all of us are so focused on getting the floral right for the centerpiece of the table, and how could you really style without a floral centerpiece? And I think you covered that and demonstrated it with your pictures really well. Because
I would also suggest that you don't always go floral. It's very been there, done that. Why don't you just take a branch, a dry branch, a really tall one, and have your, your housekeeper paint it silver or gold, and put these, these days you have these little crystal balls with candles. You could put that in the center of your dining table. Or you could, take a frangipani tree, a small frangipani tree, and put fairy lights on it. Something very outlandish and large that would be a talking point. Just change things around a little dramatically, and don't be very, don't be very formatted. Don't be, don't be the person who would wear a neck piece matching with the earrings, matching with the ring. Right. Never match. Never ever match. Do things that are out of the box and create a freshness so that a person sits up and looks. That wow factor must be there. So I'd say do 2 dinners in your life and do 6 high teas. It's easier. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean your life. I meant in the
year.
Do 2 dinners in the year, or do 1 showstopper dinner for 200 friends, but make it memorable.
That's lovely. This is a very specific question from one of our members. When you have a table which is mother of pearl and you don't want to cover it, any tips on how one can style a mother of pearl table?
Who asked this question?
I'm sorry, I don't have her name.
Okay. Well, the anonymous lady, I wish you would tell us your name. Thank you for asking this question, because you brought me to something which is very, very important for me to mention, and I've forgotten to mention. It's called a charger. You must invest in chargers. Chargers, all of you already know, comes under your dinner plate. So when you are setting up your dinner, what comes right underneath the dining plate is your charger. So it's an embellished and a beautiful piece that is actually under the dinner plate. And it's normally very beautiful. It's, the ones I picked up from, I think it was Neiman, was a bright red mother of pearl, like a star. And it comes under your big dinner plate. And above that comes your salad plate, as you know. And on the left is your bread plate. So what happens is the charger acts like a mat, because a mat looks very tacky. So don't use a mat if you can help it. And if you must use a mat, make sure it's got some, like, a butterfly shape, something exciting, that extra mile, which I mentioned. So let the mat be different. Please don't use plastic mats. I fold my hands and beg you that don't use a plastic mat. They look very, very tacky. So linen is always charming, reminds you of Miss Marple or Hercule Poirot going on the Orient Express and having his tisane, in this brilliantly done table. So linen has a charm. It's fluid. It's beautiful. It's memorable. It reminds you of your grandmother doing things so meticulously. My grandmother always had painted nails and that bouffant, and looked so stunning. So please use a mat which is beautiful, the charger, and then match your dinner plate and your salad plate with the charger. So chargers are available all over the world. And if I'm not wrong, they're available in India as well. I think Good Earth does beautiful tableware. And Ladies, you can even go there. I learn so much from them. You know, I go there and I experiment, and life is learning. I almost learn every day, even just chatting with you. I did a little bit of reading and I learned about the ice cubes with the flowers today. And I thought I must share it with you. And I'm going to try it next time.
Lovely.
So call me when you're in Bombay and I will entertain you.
I think all of us are going to go out and buy chargers. That's such a lovely suggestion.
Arshia, so just, Arshia, this question was asked by Amrita Goklani.
Okay. So
Amrita, thank you for asking this question. I loved it. And I would have forgotten speaking about chargers and the kind of person, I'm an A-type personality. I would have been very upset with myself this evening.
So Nisha, we have one question, which is basically how does one entertain with a smaller dining table? If you have a smaller table, what is the best?
So my friend, whose name I'm forgetting, I wish I could remember it. She used to hire out 2-3 tables, and she did something very exciting. She used to have little tables in the middle of her dining and drawing room. And she would actually seat 5 of us on each table. Now, when you do that, make sure that there's interesting people on each table that are going to, and no harm even priming somebody and saying, hey, you're in charge of that table. Make sure everyone laughs. So take your confidants and your favorite friends and train them up before your party. That, you know, I'm going to hold you responsible for looking after this group here. So, you know, have those little pockets of friends who help you entertain. Alternatively, use your sideboard or your credenza as a buffet table, and let your little dining table only have your plates, your serviettes, and your bowls and your cutlery. And please don't scatter cutlery around. These days you have lovely little trays, or take a lovely silver salver where you arrange the cutlery in a certain fashion. Ladies, it's not cool to be casual. It's not cool.
Lovely.
Start a message by saying, hey. It's not polite. You don't say, hey, how are you? You do say, you know, you start with, dear Arshia, would you please, or dear Ashima Dang, would you please join me for lunch? In the same way, you make that effort with your table. So your little table, please make sure you have your crockery, cutlery, and mainstay, and then create a credenza for the evening. Don't be lazy about shifting around furniture.
Lovely. That's a very relevant tip, because a lot of us have 6-seater tables and, you know, we struggle to kind of make sure that how do we fit in the food as a nice display.
Important is move out the dining chairs in this case.
Right.
Move them out into your spare bedroom or your storeroom, and let the table stand without chairs, or place the chairs and seating against a wall which might be empty.
So Anisha, we have one more question from Rasheeda. She wants some ideas for festivals like Diwali, Holi, Christmas, special table ideas, or, you know, for festivals.
So for festivals, always play with lights. Make lights the mainstay of your coffee table, of your occasional tables. Try to keep menus for Diwali or Holi Indian. You know, I hate to say this and admit the fact that most men will still love their Indian cuisine after several black labels and their Singleton and Macallan. Experiment with different desserts for Diwali and for all Indian festivals. Of course, for Christmas, you know, you'll have your marzipan, you'll have your marzipan cakes, you'll have your marzipan fruits, you'll have your, you know, all those special Christmas things, profiteroles. Try and start the evening with a theme. Write it down. Create a thematic color. Let your serviettes and your straws and everything that is movable follow that theme. So supposing, just as a wild thing, you have Jaipur pottery as your theme. So let the blue and white theme continue into the serviettes, into the straws. And in this one case, you can be matchy-match because it looks well coordinated. It looks exciting and interesting. You could have, you know, in the center of your dining table, you could have a large silver bowl with floating lotus lights. You know, you have lovely lotuses floating with light, and strewn amidst the dishes, you have lotuses. And you could even use salvas that are, shaped like different elements of Diwali or Holi.
Lovely. So one very interesting question from Seema Jaising. She says, Nisha, I love your ideas, but how can someone incorporate little travel stories into food, cocktail, and dessert table setup?
That would be very, very exciting. And that would work if you could even bring things back with you when you're traveling. So if you come back from Monte Carlo, you could have a Monte Carlo theme. You could have foods that are famous in Monte Carlo. If you have a Swiss evening, you could have raclette. You could have foods that, talk about your journey to Switzerland. You could actually get back a fondue dish and use it for the cocktail. And you could serve up, if it's winter, you could serve up glühwein. It's very easy to make glühwein. So you read up today, the world is your oyster with Google. And you always have me. You can always tweet me and I will respond. Try and pick countries that would be slightly identifiable, because I keep saying and I keep repeating, in your desire to, be different, please don't alienate your guests and allow somebody to come back home and say, hey, I'm so hungry, there was no food. So while you do your raclette and you do your fondue and you do your different, what is the potato thing called? I'm forgetting. Rosti.
Yeah.
So while you do your rosti, while you do your glühwein, make sure that there are some elements of Switzerland which are also, like the fish dish. So something which is a mainstay, main element.
Yeah.
Also try, she was Seema, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Seema, try and make sure that your crockery and cutlery in some way reflects the country. You could also give away party favors of something you got back from Switzerland. Something you'd like to share with everyone. So a party favor, which is also known as a party gift when everyone's going home, to take back the fragrance of the party.
Beautiful. So we have one last question and then we'll move on to, the prizes. We had a little contest running. So Nisha, to end with 2 party bloopers that one should never commit.
A very important one, Arshia.
Never, ever, ever throw food around your host's home. I know I'm approaching it from the host side first, but I know of people who've stopped talking to each other because one of the men had had a drink too many and spilled on the Italian chaise of the host. The host is a very well-known person and he was furious and he never called that poor individual again to his house. So be careful, drink only as much as you can handle. And my recommendation to the host is, just because you're nervous or you're having last minute exam jitters, please don't drink and totter around, on the day of your party. You can sit with your husband on day 2 after the party, put your feet up and drink happily. On the day of your party, I'd recommend that you nearly be a teetotaler. The biggest blooper would be if you're not all there. Right. Don't allow panic to, get the better of you and be impolite to your staff. They are going to be as good as you train them and you teach them. You have to be a coach. So a lot of us do get, hyper by the end of it. So we must learn to keep it light and happy. Few mistakes can always be covered up. Always be at hand to douse awkward moments. So a party blooper is when you become involved in a discussion and it goes out of hand. Instead, you are the moderator, like Arshia is today. You need to be the moderator at your own party. The blooper is when you begin to think you're there to have fun. You are definitely not there to have fun. Your own party is your way of reciprocating to all those lovely people who've had you over, fussed over you, made you feel special. And a tiny tip is impromptu. For impromptu guests coming to your house, have a little caddy in which you keep emergency things for your impromptu tea or your impromptu drinks. So remember to always have things in your house for impromptu guests. And I think all of you realized in this very bleak period that friends and guests are more than welcome. They are the mainstay of our lives. So pamper your guests all the way. I can't think of any more party bloopers, but to me, the biggest blooper is when the host begins to think she has to have a great time and have a lot of fun. And of course, take the help of your partner, your husband, your lover, whoever there is, you know, your second half in your house. And if there's no one and you're handling it all, then try to make your staff into your partners for that night.
Lovely, Nisha. I think really we know the amount of effort and hard work that goes into every party that you throw. And thank you for this very, very valuable session. Can you announce the winners? As you're aware, we had a contest running for trays and table settings, and a lot of our members have shared their images. If you could announce the name.
So I really want to congratulate all the ladies who
show the picture.
participated. And I just want to say there's never, in my opinion, there's never just one winner. Just, you know, participating is winning. That courage to go out there and show yourself to the world. And yet, you know, life is such that we have to announce a few winners, but the ladies have, you know, or everyone has decided on more winners than was planned because they found it so difficult to judge. So there is Ankita Mulani, congratulations. Shweta Bhovalika. Am I saying that right?
Right.
Bhovalika.
Shweta Walka, the one on the right.
Niyati Savani. That's lovely, Ankita Mulani. Niyati Savani and Archana
Kanoria.
Kanoria. Nidhi Mittal and Nandini Kanoria. There are two Kanorias, you know, making the name of Kanoria Roshan.
Yeah.
The theme-based decor prize goes to Sarita Mittal, Sonal Gandhi, Anshu JamVwal, and Shruti Mittal.
Lovely.
And unable to hold themselves, the judges couldn't help but award Namrata Bhatia also, who gets a special win today.
Lovely.
These are absolutely lovely presents, and I love scissors, by the way. So this is a fabulous hamper. Congratulations to all of you. I'm really happy to have been part of this today. And I wish I could see everyone, which I'm not going to be privileged to do. But reach out to me. I'm not Nisha JamVwal on Twitter. I'm Nish JamVwal. But on Instagram, I'm Nisha JamVwal. And I'm very responsive to everyone. So write in and stay in touch, all of you lovely ladies. Thank you for the honor. Hussein has written, I'm sorry. Can somebody read to me what Hussein has written?
He says it was a delight having a personalized session with Nisha.
Thank you, madam. I'm so grateful for your feedback, and I'm delighted to be here and be with such a beautiful panel. I hope Arshia and Ashima Dang can invite me once again when you know, we move around normally. I come to Bangalore once a month, so I'm going to make them do this session all over again in the flesh, even if they kick and scream about it.
No, we'd love to.
We are very happy. We are very happy, Nisha, to have you. It's been a phenomenal session, and it was like a movie which you created for everybody. And I must tell you that this is the first year I have introduced a gourmet vertical in Fiki Flow, which we've not been able to launch because of COVID. But this looks like a trailer for gourmet series coming forward. It is there's a member called Sheetal C who's heading gourmet, and there are going to be a lot of these girls who are going to be part of that team. What you've shown us today is like a movie, actually. It's like a movie, like a trailer to what we can do in the gourmet, and we are definitely going to get you for a live session. Because
Thank you, Kritika. I would love that. I
Can I add something? Can I just intervene, please? Nisha, I have to tell you one thing. Jyotika is just like you. I have been to many dinners at her home, and everything that you mentioned, Jyotika takes care of every detail. Every table of hers, every corner of hers is a wow factor. And while I was listening to you, I could only imagine all my parties I've had at Jyotika's place. Fantastic. Thank
I'm
you.
sure all the ladies here are beautiful entertainers. Ladies never leave undone. Jyotika, please call me next time I'm in
No,
Bangalore.
100%, 100%.
I would love to come and see your party.
No,
And I
we're going to
love-
kick off the gourmet with you. We'll kick it off with you on a
Thank
live
you.
note.
That would be a privilege and an honor.
Yeah,
thank
you all inspired us now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jyotika,
you so
will you add that we have a little token of appreciation for all the participants who've sent us images of the decor?
Yes, we've got actually members. We've got a small prize for everybody, and we have some very generous sponsors from our membership itself. So, girls, we look forward to sending you all of them, and everybody was fabulous. It was very difficult to even choose the 11 people.
How
So I
lovely.
think we've had a fabulous session, Nisha. I think everybody has just loved this. You brought in so much positivity. You brought in art. You brought in, there's like so much of pep in your talk, and I could just see, how the members and we had everybody till the end. Nobody was dropping out, and I think everybody wanted to listen to every word of yours. They didn't want to miss out on anything.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you. I run a Women Achievers Forum. It's always a privilege to be among beautiful women like you. And I hope, we can always be there to propel each other to performing better and to being better versions of ourselves. There is no shortcut in life. So there is no shortcut to entertaining either. It's hard work, and it's very rewarding. So I hope you go back with the thank you so much, Ankita.
Thank you. Thank you, Arshia.
Ruby Garg,
Thanks a lot, Ashima,
Thank
Arshia,
you.
Ruchi, Anshu. You all have done a fabulous job. Ashima, thanks a lot for kicking off this series.
No,
So-
thank you for initiating it, Jyotika. It was under your guidance that we took this on.
No, I mean, everybody brings in their flavor. So I think it was just amazing,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Nisha.
Jyotika for your lovely words.
It was
Jyotika,
fun working with you.
and thank you, Ashima and Arshia and Ruchi, for the lovely, work that you've done. I really enjoyed being with you, and I hope we can meet soon again.
Yes.
Thank
Look
you.
forward, everyone.
Look forward. Thank you, Arshia.
Thank you.